Happy Sunday morning in the print farm, everybody. It is still dark out, but we've got a lot going on today. We are moving the printers once again, but this time we're moving them onto that rack that all of our printed products were sitting on. I'm realizing that that thing would be way more efficient if the printers were sitting on it because I could space them out evenly, and I've got a couple more coming in the next couple of weeks that we're going to need room for, and the shelf that they're on just isn't working right now. So I'm going to get everything taken off of the product shelf, then we can get it moved down into place. I'm just going to set it up in the center of the shop now. I think it's going to be a much better place for it, and move my desk down. We're going to get rid of that janky thing that they were sitting on before because I'm sick of looking at it, to be honest with you. So this setup should let me get all of the A1 minis and the P1P on the same shelf. I did have to remove the AMS from the top of the P1P and set it on the shelf above it. Luckily, the PTFE tube and the cable for the power was long enough to reach, just barely, but it did reach. So I'm just moving the UPS units over and all of the A1 minis, getting them set up in a row. I ended up putting the combo unit on the end there just to make it a little bit easier to change out the filament so I'm not bumping into any other printers. And the two Creality machines are going to sit up top. They're just too tall to fit underneath on any of the other shelves, so that is where they are going to live. I had thought about putting the P1P up on that top shelf, but it would have made it really difficult to change out the filament. And if anything went wrong with the AMS unit, then I'd need a ladder to get up to it, and it would have put it basically at the top of the rack height. So this middle shelf area just ends up working really good for me. One of the next things I want to do is get a holder or rack or something printed out for the Surface tablet that is essentially my control board, my computer for the Ender 3 V3 SE. Since I've set it up on that device, I've just had the tablet laying flat, and it kind of makes it a pain as far as the actual cable, the printer's power cable. It rubs up against it sometimes and will open the console. And especially now that the printer is on the top shelf, it's going to make it really difficult to actually see and control it. So I want something that will display it on the front of the shelf, and I think I can come up with a pretty simple design in Shaper 3D for it, get it printed out on one of the A1 minis, and see how it looks. And I'm printing this out of Elegoo's Rapid PLA Plus, pretty much my go-to for at least the black and the white in my shop. I do use Elegoo filament pretty much exclusively though, so if you're interested in picking some up for yourself, I do have links down in the description below for their matte PLA, Rapid PETG, and the PLA Plus and Rapid PLA Plus. As far as the settings for this, I did 10 or 15% gyroid infill, 3 walls, 3 top and bottom layers, and we printed it out on the Cool Plate Super Tack from Bamboo. All right, one thing I'm really enjoying about the Super Tack plate, and Off the Bench mentioned this in his channel in one of his previous videos. If you haven't seen that, I'll link it down below. But just how good the bottom surface looks. It's smooth. I mean, aside from these areas where it had to slow down and speed up to go around this area, I mean, it's just a phenomenal finish. And I printed this at a 0.26 millimeter layer height, so the overhangs are a little rough there. If I'd printed it maybe at even a 0.20, they would have been better. But let's see how these supports come off. Well, that was nice. So this is just test number 1, looking really good there. So my idea was to fit this surface in here, which it does very well. And I could definitely screw it to the thing just like this. And you know, that could be that. Then I can print some brackets here for each side. Let's try it out. All right, so I suppose I could have centered it a little bit more, but overall I'm really pleased with that for a first iteration. I do need to design something that goes on the side here just to hold it in place. I'd like to still be able to get it out of here, but for the most part it just needs to be preventing the thing from tipping forward. so it doesn't come forward. That'll be a good fit as far as that goes. I mean, I could have modeled a port on the side, but realistically that works. All right, now that this new setup is in place, one thing I need to do is attach it to the wall. So in the video where we sent a bunch of stuff to Amazon, I said it takes 2 to 3 weeks for it to arrive and for them to process everything in. Well, that time has come, it has been processed in, and we've already sold about half of the dumbbell business card holders. So like I said, I should have started printing more out. I do have, I don't know, enough for 20 or so left, but definitely time to start making more because Amazon sales are picking up. So the way that I have this set up now, I just mounted the spool holders on the front for these two A1 minis here. And I fed the extra PTFE tubes for the AMS light, so I have something to protect it, and I 3D printed these little cable clips here. This one I need to replace it with the longer tube, but I'm gonna let this print finish first because it's already started, but didn't really take that into consideration when I installed this one. Still works fine though. Some of you might be wondering, why are you moving this after you just got them set up on there? The long answer is my ADHD brain can't let me keep things in one place for too long, otherwise I get too stagnant. Short answer to that is this thing never really was a good spot for them to begin with. I mean, look at it. I just kind of put them there because it was convenient, and then I didn't have to go spend $300-400 on one of those muscle racks, which I'm kind of still debating because where I have them now isn't exactly the best spot, but it's far better than this. Before I can get this down though, I gotta get the radial arm saw off of here and, I don't know, find a place to put it, because right now there really isn't a whole lot of room for anything to go, so it may just end up out there. Well, I guess this was set up to only record the time lapse for a minute, but I got this thing off of here. That thing is heavy. Anyway, this is what happens with a radial arm saw. Kind of a cool effect. Dust collection is absolutely terrible, but anyway, gonna get that vacuumed up, get this taken down and all this stuff cleaned up, and see what we're working with. Now that the back corner is all cleaned up, I can start getting the rest of this place organized, I think. I'm not exactly sure what I'm gonna do with the stuff that I have to sell, but for now, it's gonna sit on that table until that table needs to go away, and I'm gonna figure out a little bit better of an idea of what I can do with all of this stuff. I do need to get the desk moved down a little bit so I have access to the filament from over here. Right now, I'd have to walk around the desk, and that's pretty inconvenient.
One eternity later.
So that back corner still needs to be cleaned up, but I'm very happy with the progress that I'm making so far. And I've now got access to go through here to get all of my filament. P1P just finished printing out a filament purge bucket for one of the A1 minis. Obviously, I've got 2 more to do, but the one with the AMS was really my main concern. These ones just, you know, they poop when they start up and then I can pick it up. Not too big of a deal. But I am gonna get this started out on another one. And then there's this mess under the stairs. For the last couple months, I've just been piling up all of the empty boxes under there because I don't really wanna get rid of them because I can still use them to ship stuff out, but I don't really have a better place for them. But you know what? They've been sitting there for a couple months. I'm obviously not gonna use them, so it's time they go. Under the stairs, I'm gonna save that for the next video. Recycling day is not until Wednesday anyway, so I've got a few days to pick all that stuff up and get it out there. Not to mention, I've got quite a bit of stuff to finish picking up as far as the products that we just dismantled and left with no home. So I'm gonna figure out a place for that to go as well. And in tomorrow's video, we'll get under the stairs cleaned up, we'll get the products organized and sorted out. I think I also wanna move the CNC over into this corner. So there's a lot of organization that needs to go on. It is an absolute shit show right now, but hopefully tomorrow we can get this straightened up and have this place looking good for the new year. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see tomorrow's video, be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on that one. I appreciate everybody joining me today, and until next time, take care.